All right, guys, you did a fantastic job on your essay. And so what we're doing here is kind of trying out something new. I want you to try a two-sentence thesis statement or a two-sentence claim, really. Sometimes we use those words interchangeably, but in this case, it's a two-sentence claim. You can apply this also to your literary analysis or informational text standards. But it's a way of making a not so listy thesis statement. So it doesn't read like, here's my thesis statement and blank, blank, and blank support it. So try this out if you'd like. You do not have to add it into your paper, but it is an option for you. So the way we do this, there's kind of three steps. In the first sentence, state your claim, just like you normally would. But this time add one or two reasons. In a second sentence, add the other reason. And then include your counterpoint somewhere, wherever it will make sense. So the best way to do this is to just jump right in. So I'm going to look at this example. It says highlight the different parts with different colors, label them using the word bank below. If you are like, oh my gosh, Miss Holloway, I can do this myself, go ahead and skip forward a little bit. But we want to definitely do this if you are like not very sure of what you're doing here. So I have the feeling of passing out isn't one that people generally enjoy. Palm sweating, head spinning, vision tunneling. It's not pleasant. So I'm going to highlight that. That is our hook. And then we jump into context. People try to avoid this feeling when exercising by drinking sports drinks such as Gatorade and Powerade. So this is part of the context. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight context. And there's still more to it. They think the sugar and the salt in the drink will keep them feeling energized and ready to perform. So I am going to end my context there. So that says the problem and what one side thinks. And the rest of it is actually the thesis statement or the claim. But we've got all these other parts going on, right? So remember we said that you're going to actually have all three of your reasons, 1, 2, 3, right? Add the other reason. You're going to actually include your counterpoint. So wherever your counter argument paragraph is, that's where you'd put it, and then you'd have a claim. So if we look at this, it says the fact is that water, not a sports drink, is the best fluid to keep you hydrated. So there's my claim, right? And then we've got that because, right? We've got that signal word there telling us, look, I'm about to go into my reasons. So let's see, I've got a blue one here. So let's start with reason 1, right? That corresponds with body paragraph 1. Because it doesn't have the unnecessary added sugars and salt. And that's the end of my sentence. So notice it doesn't sound listy, right? The fact is that water, not a sports drink, is the best fluid to keep you hydrated because it doesn't have the unnecessary added sugars and salt. And then we go into the other 2 points, but it sounds more like just a regular sentence rather than a list. So I have, and I'll do this one in yellow, my reason, actually my counterpoint starts here, right? Unless exercising excessively. We've got that water is sufficient to rehydrate. So I'm running out of color, so I'll underline in this color. Water is sufficient to rehydrate. That's my second reason. And then I'll underline with pink my third reason. And is much cheaper than any sports drink. So holy moly, a lot of things just happened in that introduction there. And most of those things actually happened in the claim or the 2-part thesis statement. So I know that was a lot. Go back and rewatch that if you need to. Okay? Started with a claim, right? Water, not sports drinks, is the best fluid. And then we go into our reasons. But we only do one in this sentence because it doesn't have the unnecessary added sugars and salt. Period. Then we go into our other 2 as well as our counterpoint. Unless you're exercising excessively, water is sufficient to rehydrate and it's much cheaper. So when you read that all as one, it doesn't sound like a list like, well, water is the best fluid because it doesn't have added sugars and is sufficient to rehydrate and is much cheaper. It flows a little bit better. Okay, so pause here, think, do some annotations, take some notes, whatever you need to do. I'm going to go ahead and flip over so that we can look at these other examples, at least one other example. Now, from here on out, I only have the claims, the 2-sentence claims. I do not have the beginning of the introduction, so I don't have the hook, I don't have the context. It's just 2 sentences in the rest of these. But we can still label them. And actually, I would highly recommend you tearing this apart and looking at this as you go. So I want to go ahead and again label these different parts. Okay, so that's my goal, is to kind of label and be able to identify the parts so that when I write one, I can also identify those different parts. So I'm going to start with my claim. High school football should in fact be banned. Easy, right? I've got a should there. It tells me what we should do. That is an easy claim. And then easy again, because, right? So we go into that first reason, because, well, the sport is very dangerous. So that's my first reason. Now we have the effects of these blows to the head may not show up until later. And then we've got our signal word saying we've got another one coming, right? We've got and. So the effects of these blows to the head, that's my reason 2. I'm just going to stay consistent with that first page and underline that one. And then we've got that and so I'll do that third one, right? So and may even be a reason for poor academics of schools who participate in athletics. So it could have ended there, right? But I have asked you to make sure you add that counterpoint in there somewhere. So that may be a choice that you make to say, you know what, I don't really want that in there, but I do have it here, even though fans of the game disagree. So now these 2 sentences read, high school football should in fact be banned because the sport is very dangerous. The effects of these blows to the head may not show up until later and may even be a reason for the poor academics of schools who participate in athletics, even though fans of the game disagree. Notice how that does not sound listy. It doesn't say high school football should be banned because it's dangerous, there are bad effects, and academics are poor in schools who participate in athletics. So that's why we want to try this. We want to see if maybe this makes it sound more like real writing in the real world and less like, oh, my teacher assigned me to do something with 5 paragraphs. All right. At this point, if you are done, if you get it, go ahead and try some on your own. I am going to do one more because I do think that some people might still need help with this. Okay. So I have fast food in schools is a terrible idea because of the lack in nutritional value. Although it may come at a cheaper cost now, fast food will cost kids more in the long run when it comes to their future health conditions and weight management solutions. All right, so again, I can very clearly see my claim. And I see that because I've got the because right there, right? And then my first point, easy again. There's even a period after it. The lack of nutritional value. Now this one's interesting because the counterpoint came next, although it may come at a cheaper cost now. And then we go into reasons 2 and 3. Fast food will cost more in the long run in terms of health and weight management. So again, you can clearly see those 3 parts. The first point, the second point, the third point, you see a counterpoint in there, and you've got that basic claim, right? Fast food is a terrible idea, or you know, since we are supposed to be saying should, right? Fast food in schools should be banned, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say there, but you can still clearly see those parts. There is a backside to this. If you would like me to go over it with you in class, I am more than happy to help you do that. But hopefully these examples that you've seen here and the example here with everything labeled was enough to at least get you started. So happy writing, and let me know if you do decide to use a 2-sentence claim in your essay. Thank you.